What's up, everybody? Circus here, coming at you with a please don't play this deck. For the love of God, please don't play this deck. I was playing on the ladder the other day. I was like plat 7 or something, and I played against someone that was like, they were plat 1, and I'm guessing that they are a newer player and they had just gotten out of gold, and they were probably running into a lot of resistance at plat 1 because I played against them, beat them pretty quickly, and then I took a look at their deck and I was like, yeah, this guy it worked in gold, but you're gonna have to level up here, and I'm gonna put the deck on the screen, and you can see why I say that. Yeah, this is just a straight stall deck. I mean, it's really easy to build, right? Um, but once you get out of like bronze, silver, plat, or bronze, silver, gold, and you get into platinum, you're gonna find out that the decks become a lot more refined, and they're gonna be a lot better than the stuff you were playing against in the gold and below. And I think that's what this guy was running into because he quit very early in frustration during the game. Because I was playing Yusenju's, and Yusenju's is just a beefed up version of this deck, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But the reason I don't recommend this deck for new players is there's a lot of reasons, but like the first one is this is just a very outdated strategy. Now I love stall, and if you guys have been following the channel for a while or following us on Twitch, you know that I love stall. We used to have a show called Garbage Phase where Herf and I would just play the most degenerate decks we could get our hands on. We played every variation of stall that was out at the time, any FTK, OTK, anything like that, anything that could be degenerate, we played it. So I am very familiar with this style of deck, and this is a very outdated strategy. This stuff was hot when Yu-Gi-Oh first came out, the first couple of years, like 2017, 2018, back then, just because the decks were different, right? The monsters were slower. They didn't have as many effects. There wasn't like tons of like lots of special summoning and the ability to play through cards, like you see nowadays. Like he's got Kanadi in here, you summon something and he tries to flip it down. And if you're playing, let's say Harpies, you can just Swallow's Nest the monster and just play through it. There wasn't that kind of stuff back in the day when this style of stall was hot. They're like this style of stall, this is like way old version of stall, you know what I mean? Because this is just straight, I'm just gonna keep flipping traps. I'm just gonna keep flipping traps and try to frustrate you or make you run out of cards. Now this one does have the lava golem, so he's trying to burn you a little bit, and then it's the sky star ray. I think I got that right. He's trying to poke at you a little bit at your life points, but really he's trying to deck you out more than anything. So it's just an outdated strategy, and it just takes a long time to win. And then if you play something for like a half hour and then you lose, it's kind of demoralizing a little bit, right? Especially since you should win technically because you're the stall guy, you're controlling the game, you should win. But if you don't, it kind of sucks. And then the other thing that I like to point out is this kind of deck doesn't really teach you good Yu-Gi-Oh. Not that everybody has to be an expert, but you're not going to learn about like reading delays and timings and how to play through things, or to like how to bait your opponent, or like to fake them out or something like that. This is just, you just flip a card, flip a card, flip a card, flip a card, and you're not really learning Yu-Gi-Oh. So like when he's probably running into a brick wall here, getting from gold into platinum, and then realizing, crap, this deck is not going to get me to King of Games. Maybe I can get to plat 3, I can get to plat 4 or something like that with it. But it's definitely gonna its power is not gonna be good enough to get me as far as I want. And then it's like, man, now I got to start over and find a deck, and then it's gonna be like, man, this Harpies suck, I can't win with it. And it's like, well, it doesn't suck, it's just you got to learn to play the game now. There's a lot more to the game than just flipping up traps and stalling out your opponent. So that's the other big thing, is just like learning how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. You'll look at something like this and just be like, yeah, I remember when I first started the game and I played that kind of deck. So and then finally, the last point I want to make is, like, if you like stall, which I do, I love stall, and maybe this guy was filming his own garbage phase or something like that. He was making a YouTube video where he's just being degenerate on the ladder, and that's what you're doing, that's fine. But if you are like, this is the deck I want to get King of Games with, but you're having a hard time, a great replacement for this would be a control deck, because that's all stall is a control deck, like taken to the extreme, and it doesn't really have a good win con. You're just trying to deck your opponent out. That's all you got. This guy's going to try to burn you a little bit. He's going to try to poke you a little bit, but for the most part, he's just going to deck you out. And control, that's what control is, except you have a little bit more of a win con. Like there's a more clear win con. And we can talk about a few decks like that. And the first one I wanted to bring up, we give it a hard time here, but honestly, I'd rather see this than stall, and that's Arrow Mages. A lot of people say, it is a control deck, but a lot of people say a borderline stall. It can definitely slow down the game. But that's the whole point of a control deck is you slow down the game. You make your opponent play into your style. They have to work around you, and you're controlling the field, and then you can go for game. And that's exactly what Arrow Mages does. And it's a lot easier, or it's a lot cheaper to build than like all those traps and everything that guy was running. You just be better off to get Arrow Mages, and at least then you're gonna learn to like different timings and like having to worry about your opponent's monsters. You're gonna learn about the game, and that's what we want to do here, right? So Arrow Mages would be a good example. Another one would be Weather Painters. Weather Painters, a lot of people say borderline stall, but same thing, control deck, except it's got more of a win con. You just sit there controlling the field, returning your opponent's monsters to the hand. You're poking at their life points. So that's another really good one because again, you're slowing down the game. You're making them play your style and not just run rampant out on the field. And that's what a control deck does. What's another good one? Oh, this one people are gonna like, Circus, how can you even say you like that deck? But I honestly love Triamids. Okay, now a lot of people saw the Rock Route video, and we were just saying maybe it's not the best route to go into initially for new players. But if you're playing stall, I'd much rather you play Triamids any day of the week. I love Triamids. I've been playing it since they came out. DLE actually played in Team Wars, which is a competitive league in the Twitch community, and we played in their winter league. And I was the Trimid guy on the team. Like, oh, we need a Trimid player who can do it. Circus can do it. I'd go in and play Trimids. I love Trimids. Okay. And I'd much rather see you play Triamids than stall any day of the week. Because again, it's a great control deck. You're slowing down the game. You're going to learn a lot about timings. Like, when do I switch out my field spells? When can I use my pulse? When do I use my Tretch or something like that? It's more. You're going to learn a lot more, I should say, playing Trimids than you're ever going to learn playing stall. You're going to learn a lot more about the game, and it's going to make you a better player. And that's what this is really all about, is let's learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then you don't have to like just revert back to a deck like stall. And then the last one I want to bring up is one of my favorite decks of all time is Yusenju's. I love this deck, and Yusenju's is just a beefed up version of this guy's deck. It's like that guy's deck on steroids, basically, because his deck, he wanted to stall you out and then burn you a little and poke at you with the Sky Star Array. That's what Yusenju's does. They're just control the field. I got my hand trap, so I'm going to stop any attacks. And then I got my Yusenju's, especially the Kama 2, that can just sit there and just poke at you. You got monsters on the field. I'm just going to go around and poke you for 900 and then go back and do it again next turn and do it next turn, So it's a very similar style, but you can actually win with it. And I know a lot of people say, oh, Yusenju's aren't free to play. But remember, any tournament deck that we display here can easily be altered and still played on the ladder and do a lot better than the deck I showed at the beginning of the video. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm sure I didn't list every control deck out there. So put in the comments below what you think would be good for a new player, a control style deck. Now remember, there is a difference between control and stall. What we just saw on the screen was stall. Control is a little bit different, so keep that in mind. But what's a good control deck for new players? That would be anything's better than the deck we saw. So let me know what you think, what you would recommend. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here, but you should get in our Discord because it's free. The tournaments are free. The new player help is also free. I'm Circus, and I'll see you next time.